Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Hey guys, and welcome to Criminality Podcast, a podcast where we know that loving reality TV isn't a crime. And thank goodness, because someone would literally throw the book at me and possibly bury me under the jail. Rebecca, after that introduction, how are you?
I'm good. And you're right. My gosh, we'd be among the most wanted.
Yeah.
Now that I say it like that, I'm like, oh, that could be cool. Yeah. First.
Right.
I'm good. Happy Election Day. If you're
Happy
celebrating.
Election Day for all those who celebrate.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
We have exciting news here at Criminality. Rebecca, do you want to share the news?
Sure. Well, we announced it last week on Instagram because we just couldn't contain our excitement.
Of course.
But we launched two things, a website, which was such a feat in and of itself. And we want to thank so much our friend Rachel Bennett, who helped design and, well, didn't help, designed the website, criminalityshow.com. Thank you, Rachel. We love it. And on that website, there's merch. So we've been hard at work kind of pulling some really fun quips and quotes from different episodes over the last year and a half. And we put them on some t-shirts and coffee mugs and such, and we're really excited about it. And we thank you for your excitement about it. And we apologize that it wasn't ready when we said it was. Very on brand. You know, I will say we're ahead of Sonia Morgan and She by Sheree even. Yeah. We fixed it same day. It was like a same day troubleshooting resolution. So yeah, check out criminalityshow.com to see the website and check out the merch.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff on there. I have a hoodie that's headed my way. And then we actually ordered ahead of time some samples so we could test out the shirts and stuff, because I've ordered from some places and you will get like a crappy feeling shirt and you'll never wear it. It's fun. But we made sure that we have it set up with shirts we actually really, really like, that feel comfortable, that look cute. And so I think you'll be really excited. Also, the hoodies are super expensive. That's not on us. We are,
I'm glad
those
you
are
said
sold at cost. And I mean, they're $48. Am I allowed to say that? Which isn't
they're going to find out hopefully if they go to criminalityshow.com/merch.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, but they're such great quality. They're made in the US and we're not making a penny off those. We just wanted to have that as an option for people, and we did not feel right adding 1 penny. So that's what those are.
We just draw the line at losing money on selling them. And so that's why we priced them according to their cost. And I guess this is one of those supply chain things. Like, you know, there's just random things that are like more expensive right now and really hard to get. I guess hoodies are among those because they're the new national uniform. So if you think about it like that, I guess it's a great deal. But yeah, everything else seems more in line with like standard pricing. And we hope you guys like it. And if you have ideas, you know, for future merch lines, this is something we want to kind of change out seasonally. I don't know at what pace yet. We'll figure that out. But if you have ideas like, oh, this has to be on a shirt or a mug, shoot us a DM on Instagram or email us at criminalityshow@gmail.com, because we definitely collected some of these even from listeners. Actually, shout out to Michelle. We were just going to do a Winsome shirt, but she suggested you put the win in Winsome, which just really elevated that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Love it. Yeah. And then if you even have any design ideas to go with it, we'll also accept those. We will accept any and all ideas and design options.
Yes. Equal opportunity idea bar over here. One more little gratitude note on the launch is Jasmine, a listener who put together. So someone suggested a Google Doc of all the TV shows that we talk about at the end of the show, what Melissa's watching, what I'm watching. And Jasmine stepped up and not only did it, but made a gorgeous, color-coded, super organized Google Doc. And we were able to use that and then pull it easily and put it on the website. So you can now go to our website, and that's one of the fun things on there that doesn't cost anything. Right. You can just go and find an easy place to see all those shows we've watched. So if you're trying to remember, what did Melissa watch that you love so much? You can go back now and find it. Thanks to Jasmine and Rachel.
Thank you so much. Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is at the end of my life, if somebody pulls that site up for me and says,
here
would
lies
you like
Melissa.
To see?
Lord, did she love the Sister Wives?
I know, just like a scrolling thing on my tombstone of all of my greatest hits, and most of them are duds. But that's a fun thing. We love doing that. So
that's a life well spent, Melissa.
Also add that to my tombstone. Well, Rebecca, would you like to get into this week's episode?
Yes, I really would, because I feel like this is highly anticipated. I also just want to say we're getting multiple guesses that could all be right. Like wig, nurse, and singer. Someone, Eddie messaged me, a listener, Luann. But I know it's not Luann, but it absolutely could be Luann. So please tell the people who we're talking about. What are we doing?
Here's the thing, Rebecca. Here at Criminality, we like to think we have our finger on the pulse of reality TV and pop culture. And this week, we really came through. The story this week starts in Florida. Welcome. Takes a pit stop in Connecticut. Okay.
My neighbor.
There you go. Before finally ending up in the ATL. And so this week, we're discussing the life and controversies of Mrs. Wig herself, Kimberly, that's Kimberleigh, Zolciak Bierman.
Wow.
That was news to me right off the bat.
That is special. Okay.
Yes. So, Rebecca, your relationship to Kim Zolciak Bierman.
Okay. So this is the part where I have to say again on the record that I haven't watched Atlanta, and it's something I repent for all the time. I will. I'm going to. I know the cast of characters. I've seen bits and parts enough to know the main players, and I know her. The reason she didn't pop to mind, I do know she has some songs, quote unquote. She's always got a cigarette in her mouth, as evidenced in your picture. So Nurse didn't really come to mind because I didn't know that about her. And judging from every time I've seen her smoke, which is several, I wouldn't have put that together. So know of her. I know one hit song. I can picture her really well.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
She's a look. Okay.
Yeah.
So long before Kim became one of the first Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was actually born in Pensacola, Florida on May 19th, 1978. So there is some controversy over her age because if you look in this picture that's sitting behind me, she claims to be 29 years old in this picture and people just didn't believe it. So I'm not 100% sure that that's her age, but we'll assume that it is. Okay.
Okay.
Kim is born to her parents, James and Karen, and according to Kim, she was born really with a big interest in the opposite sex. In other words, and in Kim's own words, quote, "I came out of the womb looking for D," end quote. I know.
Such a weird thing to say about yourself and about an infant self.
It's
so weird.
I know.
And as someone who's had children, meaning
multiple, yes.
Weird thing to say.
I know, but it's one of those that like you hear it and just what your face did, your eyes like popped out of your head. That's what happens. And that really says everything you need to know about Kim, right?
Okay.
So long before Kim's a housewife, she's a teenager. And it's not often on Criminality we get into the crime this early in the story, but in this case, that's actually where it starts.
Fun.
So as a teenager, the Zolciaks left Florida and they moved to Connecticut. And I've read this story a million times, and the only way I really know how to share it is to share it chronologically. So here we go. So back in 1992, there's this 44-year-old officer from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, and he arrests his own son back in 1992. Just overnight, has him stay in jail. But the next day, the same officer, James McDougald, releases his son from jail, but he never books him. So it seems like maybe one of those things like, I'm going to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
You're staying in jail overnight.
Something Stabler would do to Kathleen.
Exactly. Yeah. But after this arrest, he has this other officer named Daniel Squires take his son home. So Daniel does what John tells him to do, and he drives his son home. But he feels weird about this whole thing because he's like, why is your son in jail? Why aren't you actually booking him? And so he talks to other officers. And someone ends up telling John, who was the father of this kid, who also, by the way, is Daniel's boss. So word gets around, and now John knows, my son was arrested. I trusted my friend, or, this subordinate, to drive him home after, keep things quiet, and he didn't. And now everyone knows.
Okay.
So Daniel claims that for the next few months, he's written up by John on a regular basis. So he even goes to other people at the department who basically, he's saying, I keep getting in trouble. I'm not doing anything. And they're like, hey, this was a family thing. You should have stayed out of it. Stay out of it. So Daniel's this is snitches get stitches, but in the police department.
Yeah.
And instead of stitches, it's like a referral, I guess.
Yeah. Like a demerit or yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you lose a star on your shirt. I don't really know how it works.
Yeah.
So Daniel kind of festers on this, and he's not happy. But a few years later, he finds out in 1995 that John, his boss, and the guy who's in all of this controversy, was actually having an affair with a 16 or 17-year-old who he met because she was a witness in a criminal investigation.
Oh, I'm going to just pause here and wait to hear who the 16-year-old was.
We'll continue. After learning this, Daniel goes to the police commissioner and says, quote, I felt that Mr. Hall, being the chairman of the police commission, would put a stop to it. I told him that they were having a sexual relationship and that she had a part in the blank investigation. He told me he would take care of it. And there's a lot of information about this investigation. I don't want to use the name because the person ends up being acquitted. So this investigation is this case against this man who is accused of sexually assaulting 2 girls. Like I said, the case is later dropped. Nothing else comes of it, so I'm not sharing the name. But Daniel's the one who now has brought the son home, has the police, has his boss looking at him and scrutinizing him. And he knows about this affair that his boss is having between John and one of the witnesses that's in this case that we're talking about, this sexual assault case. And so if you haven't figured out yet, the person that John is having an affair with is none other than Kim Zolciak. And affair, I'm using that word, but she was underage. So at the very least, this is an abuse of power, but obviously she's underage. There's a lot more going on here. And believe it or not, though, Daniel brings this up to the higher ups, and he ends up getting in just about as much trouble as John does from this investigation. And that's because Daniel went around for several years recording conversations with different people within this investigation. So he had conversations he recorded with Kim, he had conversations with various other witnesses, and he didn't tell them they were being recorded. So he was also in trouble. But it seems to me that he had a really big issue with John and was like, I'm just going to take him down. I don't care what happens. But interesting enough, Daniel actually recorded the daughter of the accused man. So this whole case of this sexual abuse case, he talks to the daughter of the guy who is being accused, right?
Okay.
And the daughter says, my dad didn't do this, ends up accusing John, sorry, this is a lot.
Yeah, I'm tracking.
The other officer, John, of persuading 2 girls to falsely accuse her father. So now we're saying, Daniel's now saying there's police misconduct. John's not only having a sexually inappropriate relationship with this young girl, but he's also persuading 2 girls to accuse this girl's father.
Wow.
This is a lot, right?
This is like not where I thought this was going, and I am loving it. I mean, this is sad and scary, but this is really interesting.
It's wild. I totally forgot that this was even a thing because it's obviously not something Kim's going around talking about, right?
Sure.
So eventually, November of 1996, this one man, the charges are dropped against him. They can't find any evidence. And in June of 1997, so the next year, John McDougald has his disciplinary hearing. So he's the one who arrested his son, that sort of thing. It's hard for me to keep them all straight. So I'm sorry if I keep sharing who everyone is.
No, it's helpful.
Okay. One of the witnesses in the case is Kim, who is actually 19 years old when the trial takes place.
Okay.
And so John is placed on leave. He's eventually fired on June 21st, 1997 for conduct unbecoming of an officer.
That's a lovely way of phrasing what that is.
What actually happened. Yeah. So on July 21st, just a month later, Daniel Squires is also fired for conduct unbecoming of an officer, plus 9 other violations of police department policy. And so that was because they said that Daniel lied to internal affairs investigators, which showed that while, yes, he did figure out this relationship, right, between John and Kim, and I'm using air quotes, this is not a relationship, but he made up the idea that John ever coerced or fabricated statements. So again, like I was saying, he was trying to bring this guy down. And so he didn't care if he was lying, making stuff up. He did whatever he had to do. But don't worry, Rebecca, just 3 months later, John gets his job back. So he was fired.
Yeah.
But he gets his job back 3 months later.
Don't love.
Nope. In part because it was later revealed that the commission was, quote, fearful of the potential cost of defending a lawsuit challenging the dismissal. So basically, we don't want to pay for this. So if you want to come back and work for us, we'll let bygones be bygones.
Wait, sorry. They're afraid of the lawsuit John's going to bring against them?
Yeah.
For what? Wrongful termination? He did something wrong.
I know. I don't know. I guess either way it goes, they know they're going to have to go to trial and pay money and all of that. And all of the dirt's going to come out in a trial like that, I'm sure.
This is very problematic.
The whole thing. And since this story isn't about John and Daniel, but it's about Kim, just know that John continued to get himself in trouble with various women, including stalking his ex-wife. So he's just all around a gem of a guy.
Yeah.
So we're done with John and Daniel, but that's where Kim's first brush with the law, brush with anything, came as being this witness in this story, just wild.
Yeah.
So after all this, Kim graduates from high school. She enrolls in the University of Connecticut, where she goes to college and eventually becomes an LPN. So during her time in college, she has this one-night stand. She ends up getting pregnant, and she has her first daughter named Brielle.
I know Brielle.
You know Brielle. Well, Brielle looks exactly like Kim now. And she was so cute as a kid. I mean, she's beautiful, whatever now, but she was like a cute kid and just like seemed, I don't know. It's just a bummer sometimes when everyone turns into the Kardashians.
Amen.
Like,
we need to stop the Kardashification of every like millennial and younger. I just don't.
Put that on a shirt. Stop the Kardashification. I'll wear it.
I would too. I mean, they're beautiful. I get it. No, it's a weird beauty standard, and it's upsetting. Yeah.
So when Kim's 21, she has Brielle, and her parents end up relocating from Connecticut to Atlanta, so she follows them. Kim, I don't know if she met him in Connecticut or Atlanta, but she is dating this man by the name of Daniel Tochi, and I'm getting through this very quickly. She marries him, has her other daughter, Ariana. Daniel and Kim get divorced. Daniel's arrested for sexual assault of a minor. Serves a 10-year sentence. Yeah, so Kim and Ariana have nothing to do with him, but that's another thing I found in this mess that I wasn't expecting to find.
Oof.
So, Rebecca, let's move on to the lighter stuff, shall we?
Please.
So after the divorce, Kim's a single mom who worked 2 jobs but loved her kids and never stopped. Or maybe that was Reba. I don't know. But Kim did find herself a job on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where Kim was one of 5 women chosen to be in the first season. And this aired back in 2008. Here are the people in the first year's cast. There is Kim Zolciak, Nene Leakes, Sheree Whitfield, Lisa Wu, and Deshawn Snow. Deshawn Snow was a one and done. She came on, never saw her again. I mean, she might have been on as a friend of one time.
Yeah.
Lisa Wu we've seen throughout. Both Lisa and Deshawn ended up divorcing whoever they were married to. So like you'll randomly see them on, but it's a whole different thing with them now. And so this show, Real Housewives of Atlanta, especially in these early seasons, was amazing television. Like you've just never seen anything like it. And just at the time, especially, it was just wild. This is a time of Jersey Shore, just like everything's loud, big, fun. It was just messy and I loved it. So Kim comes onto the screen with a bad wig on her head, cigarette in her mouth, and glass of Merlot in her hand. And she's living in a townhouse with her 2 daughters. She has a few assistants. I don't know why. And if you're wondering, have you ever had that moment when you're leaving the house and you wonder, did I lock the door? Or worse yet, you start spiraling and you imagine all the what ifs. I used to feel that way all the time, but it wasn't until a few years ago when I heard about a break-in just a few blocks away that I realized I needed to really step up my home security game. And now I can spiral about the what ifs on things that don't matter, like reality stars, instead of the what ifs of home security. We've had Simply Safe protecting our house for the last few years now, and it's a total game changer. With Simply Safe's Fast Protect monitoring, I know within 5 seconds if something's actually up, and the lifeguards can actually speak to intruders to stop them. That's faster than a reality TV star can throw a drink. One of the things I really love the most is you're not locked into some over-the-top 90-day fiancé level contract drama. Simply Safe is actually affordable as well, less than $1 a day with no hidden fees, so it's easy to love. It's no wonder they've been named Best Home Security Systems by U.S. News and World Report for 5 years running. Whether you want to install it yourself, it really takes less than an hour, or have a professional handle it, Simply Safe is as easy as flipping channels between Chimp Crazy and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So why wait for the drama to happen? Get Simply Safe and know your home is covered just like I did. Protect your home with 50% off a new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/criminality. That's simplysafe.com/criminality. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear liners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you could pay with your HSA, FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
If Kim was funding her Real Housewives of Atlanta lifestyle based on her LPN salary, probably not.
Well, that was my question is, sorry to interrupt, like what did qualify her for housewife material?
That I don't know exactly, but behind Kim and her lifestyle on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she knew a guy, and this guy's name was Big Papa.
Oh, okay.
This is Big Papa, and Big Papa, we come to find out, is a man by the name of Lee Najjar. He is a real estate manager. And so during the course of this first season, we never see Big Papa. She refers to him and calls him Big Papa.
He's like big.
Exactly. And he allegedly pays for her townhome, gives her expensive gifts. He purchases a Land Rover for her in the first season. And you just see her on the phone go, "Thank you, Big Papa." It was very gross.
Gross,
but also calming.
Enviable.
Yeah. But while Big Papa loved to shower Kim with things and money, what he didn't love to do, as I said, was show his face or give his name. And that's because Big Papa was actually married to Kim. Not that Kim. Another Kim. Yes. And he didn't want this dirty little secret aired out to the whole world. But thanks to internet sleuths, they figured it out literally right away, right?
Whoa.
Allegedly, wife Kim knew about gal pal Kim and was okay with the situation, but I don't think loved it being, on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Sure.
And let's bring in another reality show. Do you want to guess what show Big Papa and his family was on? It was on MTV.
Cribs.
Yep. Teen Cribs. So one of his kids, and he was on it. So he wasn't against reality TV, but I guess having this big affair, maybe you don't want that on television.
Mm-hmm. And how much of it was part of the storyline? Like when they started figuring out, did they talk about this, the women on the show, or no?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have a clip to play you in a few minutes.
Good. Oh, good.
And it's maybe 3 seconds, and that will be the whole vibe of the entire thing, okay?
Okay.
You'll love it. So one of the fun things about housewives and reality shows in general is watching people who are on these shows turn their 15 minutes of fame into full-fledged careers, right? Take Sonia and her toaster oven, for example. Just kidding, that never happened. But Bethany and Skinny Girl became a thing, right? And
Oh, yeah.
Craig and his dumb Craig pillows, also a thing. That one really makes me mad. The more we learn about Craig, the more I'm like, you of all people got this.
Can't even look at the posts right now of his Christmas pillows. I'm like, they're not that cute. I'm like, I could just find something at Home Goods. I'm so angry. It's not even rational. Go on.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's not even funny. I was going to say it actually is kind of funny. I was just giggling. But the big thing we see in every iteration, mostly of Housewives, is the singers, right? From Luann and her Elegance is Learned.
My friend.
There you go. To Ashley Darby singing about coffee and love. Mm-hmm. And even my favorite Housewife song, like legit one from Candace, Drive Back. So good.
So good.
It's a bop. And I wish we heard it more. It's really, really good. She's very talented. But Housewives and Bravo stars entered this new phase of the musicians, right? And if you're wondering who we have to thank or be angry at, depending on how you feel about it, the person that really brought this to the forefront was none other than Miss Kim Zolciak.
Oh, man. Okay.
And Rebecca, we still have so much more to get into after we take a quick break to hear a word from this week's sponsors. All right, so back to these early seasons, Kim starts sharing how her goal in life is to be a country singer. And with the vocals, I honestly can't believe that Dolly Parton just didn't hand over the rights to Jolene. Rebecca, would you like to take a taste of Kim's singing and her vocal warm-ups?
You know it.
First of all, I'm going to play some notes on the piano, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you just to match the note that you hear, okay? Just match this note. Okay, you're down here. I need you here. La, la, la. Uh-huh. Now you're way down here. I'm getting you to go higher. Come way on up here.
That's going to be tough. She was unintentionally harmonizing. She was so off. She was actually getting almost an accurate harmony, but like not matching the note at all.
No attempt. And this lady is paid to help her sing. I mean, you have to be looking at your paycheck and thinking, thank you, Big Papa, because I wouldn't do this for free. Can you imagine? I'm not a good singer, but that is wild.
No, that was abysmal. That was really, really the worst I've heard.
Let's keep going.
Let's
keep going, Rebecca. While this is all pure magic, nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to what I'm about to show you. Now, this is Kim in a car with Sheree, and watch Sheree boldface lie to us, the listening audience.
So I said, a lot of people say I sound like Cher. When I said that, he goes, perfect. I have the perfect song for you.
The clouds past the moon where the stars shine.
She's singing with the song in the car with me. Beautiful voice, beautiful. I never knew.
Is eternity, yeah.
Oh, what a funky. All that beauty and talent inside.
Oh, you're so cute.
This just surfaced recently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It starts showing up again, and I'm so happy. It's so good.
Yeah, bless Cherie, or maybe shame on her. I don't know, but maybe she was referring more to the like highly auto-tuned version playing on the radio and not Kim's in real time voice. Because wow. Also, Cher, no.
No, I don't know what she sounds like, but I just love when Sheree turns to her and says, "Who'da thunk? Beauty and talent," and that's a shirt. Who'da thunk, or however she says it. Beauty and talent. Yeah, give me that.
Oh, man.
Isn't that so good?
Also, just because I love the, like, people say I sound like Cher, and I told Dallas that, and he said perfect. I'm like, who? Who said that?
Big Papa. Or maybe Sheree. I mean, we see that she will lie to Kim to her face about her talent. So, and while in that clip, Sheree seems to be on Team Kim, it wasn't always that way. They got into several fights. I think Sheree, somebody pulled somebody's wig at one point, and I can't remember who, because it honestly could have been like 4 different people.
Right.
But before Kim and Sheree were really buddies, Kim and Nene were the dynamic duo of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yes.
Kim and Nene bonded quickly on the show, and they had so much fun together, but they also fought, and they fought hard. I would not mess with them. It was a mess. So the next clip I'd like to show you, if you're not tired of this, is a 7-second clip. This is what I was saying, like, this defines their relationship, and answering your question as to whether they talked about Big Papa very much on the show.
Got it.
Close your legs to married men.
Wow, Nene, is he legally married? You are absolutely right.
You heard it. You're the one that's trouble.
Oh, wow.
Close your legs to married men. That's where that phrase came from. Came from Nene and Kim.
It's hard to respond and recover from that. And Kim's like, wow. I mean, the classic housewives, like very Lisa Rinna of her, like, you're so angry.
Yeah.
But then she's like, is he legally married? Yes.
Yeah. There is another reunion moment coming up that I can't wait to share with you. But
that was intense.
It's good. And I love watching these old Real Housewives reunions when everybody's wearing like jeans and like a vest.
They definitely, it's like from TJ Maxx.
Yeah. They picked it up on their way in the show.
Yeah.
You know, no glam team at all. So during their time on the show, Kim and Nene fought over really who was the breakout star. First season, they got along pretty well. By the second season, they hated each other. And one thing I didn't add in here, but at one point there was going to be a Kim and Nene spinoff, but it never ended up happening because they would fight so much.
Yeah.
So I think Nene was really the breakout star. Kim is who we talk about more now, but I think Nene was like, everyone knew she was a star when she was on the show.
Yeah.
So, Rebecca, I have one last clip for you to hear.
Great.
And this came at the season 1 reunion with the cast, and it's in reference to Kim alluding on the show. This gives me big Mia vibes, right? Alluding on the show, she's wearing wigs because she had cancer. And quick note, Andy Cohen said this is maybe his favorite moment in all of Real Housewives. So, no pressure. And you'll see why. It's deranged. It's a longer clip, but you need all of it.
To you from an emotional standpoint, I got very sick. I don't want to cry, but I got very sick, and this is not something I would ever choose to do. Well, 3 years ago, I had lost 25 pounds. My hair was falling out. Nobody knew why, and they said, Kim, it was a friend of mine who was a doctor, and he said, Kim, I got to be honest with you. I mean, you're 90% sure you have cancer.
So you had cancer?
I wouldn't choose to walk around with a hairpiece, ever. Nobody would. And for you to say that, Nene, you knew. I mean, I got really skinny, and I was sicker than...
I knew what?
That I was sick.
I didn't know that you were sick. When you said that you had cancer, that's the first time I ever heard that.
I mean, I was used to having, like, beautiful hair. That's what I was known for. That was my signature growing up.
Well, let me just go on record and say, I never heard that you were sick with cancer. Had I known that, things would have been different. I thought you wore the hairpiece for style.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it. You do you. I mean, if that's what you want to wear, that's what you do. But I never knew you were sick.
And are you cancer-free now?
You know, they found out that I did not have cancer. I had some other problems, and...
So you didn't have cancer?
No, I did not. I lived about 3 weeks. I remember sitting in a Chili's waiting for the test results, and it was terrible. And they were like, you know, you're healthy this way. Well, we got some other stuff going on, which is, you know, not what I want to talk about. But so it was some other stuff, and it's been almost 3 years, and my blood work's been great, and, you know, it changed my life. I'm just happy to be here.
Okay.
Really?
So you didn't have cancer?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Thank God.
Andy. So just to tie this up with a bow, you did not have cancer. So in that 1 minute 30, she says she had cancer. Uh-huh. She also, before saying she didn't, she also said no one would choose to wear a wig if they didn't have to. Rude, not true.
I know. And that was like her whole thing. She wore wigs the entire time she was on the show.
Also, like, lots of women do that, like, for their style and their look. So, like, I mean, that's secondly problematic to the cancer statement. But then she says there's other things wrong that she doesn't want to get into.
No.
Like, she only wants to drop the C word, which isn't even true. Not that C word, the cancer word.
Yeah.
I mean, and then painting the picture. Sorry, that was just so much. I'm taking it all in.
No, please. I love this.
Sitting at the Chili's, waiting for the results. It was visceral. I can see why that clip is Andy's favorite. And that, I mean, this stands the test of time. Why is fake cancer such a recurring theme on this show?
We've got Mia, which, I mean, it's the same kind of like confusion. Like maybe it's maybe
vague.
It's not. It's very vague, and you have to wonder like intentions behind it. You've got Brooks Ayers, and that whole thing. And Kim Zolciak, also pioneer of fake cancer.
And, you know, there have been also storylines on Bravo shows where someone actually does have cancer and like bravely kind of brings you on the journey. Dr. Jackie.
Yep.
And it just really, you know, is such a disgusting, like, slap in the face to people who really deal with cancer. To even, you just can't be vague about it. It's like there can be a period of time where it's confusing or you're not sure, but the way you communicate it is so important. And it just, that, I don't know, was it a sympathy ploy? Like, are we going to talk about it? What was your take on like, why she did it?
I don't know. I think somebody said, Kim, why do you wear wigs? And she said, well, and then she just got herself into a tizzy and somebody asked her, do you have cancer? And she probably said, well, I don't know. And I don't feel good.
Why is she so murky on a diagnosis if she's like surrounded theoretically by doctors? I don't like it.
No, it's gross. But you know what she was good at? Used her LPN degree for when Phaedra was on the show. And Phaedra was talking about being pregnant and how far along is she and that whole thing. Kim was like, that is not adding up.
Oh, because that came up in your Apollo episode. That was fun.
Yeah. So Kim was actually, she put her nursing cap on for that, which was good.
Good.
Yeah.
As she should.
So Rebecca, let's go back to Kim's music career.
Okay.
Heavy air quotes here. One thing I forgot to mention. So she had a few songs. One was The Ring Didn't Mean a Thing.
Okay.
Google Me and Don't Be Tardy for the Party.
That's the one I know.
The one, right? So one thing I should mention about it is the writer of Don't Be Tardy for the Party. Do you have any guess who would have been the co-writer? There were two writers. Kim was neither. Do you know who one of the co-writers would be?
I mean, was it Kandi?
It was Kandi. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, she's a hit maker.
She is the hit maker. So Kandi joins the cast of Real Housewives of Atlanta in season 2. And it's during this time she co-writes the song, Don't Be Tardy for the Party. And originally this song was going to be a duet with Kim and Nene. And Nene can actually sing.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Right? And I don't personally remember exactly what happened here, but Kim ends up taking over and it's just a solo and cuts Nene out. Obviously, this creates some sort of a strain in their relationship, which continues to have a strain in it. They'll make up, they get back into another fight. It's just, to this day, I don't know if they get along or not because it just goes back and forth. But if you're like, cool story, bro, Kandi wrote the song, great, whatever. Cool story, bro is right. Because Don't Be Tardy for the Party actually resulted in a lawsuit between Kim and Kandi.
Okay.
And Rebecca, would you like to take a guess at who represented Kandi in this lawsuit?
Who represented her? Well, okay, first of all, is it a housewife lawyer or like a lawyer from the
You just choose.
Oh, well, I know one of the women on Atlanta is a lawyer. And I want to say it's either Phaedra.
Okay, good job. You got it.
Is it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for not letting me say the second one because it was not coming.
Okay. It was Phaedra. Phaedra represented her.
Is amazing.
Right? And Phaedra and Kandi end up having terrible falling out, like over some pretty serious allegations later on. But Kandi was represented by Phaedra in this lawsuit. And so that was like a big part of the story, of course, as well.
Yes. I know about that.
Okay. And so I'm going to explain the lawsuit a little bit, but basically the idea was Kandi co-wrote the song. She makes $4,000 on it and that's it.
Why?
And so Candy's upset because she felt like she was doing this for her friend and her friend would give her a cut or whatever, but she was like, I didn't handle my business properly. But the lawsuit states, quote, without plaintiff's authorization, license, or consent, plaintiff's sound recording embodying a performance of plaintiff's composition was commercially released as a single record on or around September 29th, 2009 by defendant TuneCore. Basically, Kim released this song without Kandi's permission. That's what the lawsuit is.
Ooh.
And so Kandi actually ends up filing a restraining order, not against Kim, but against future sales of the song. And she also asked for the destruction of all copies of the single and any other products that infringe plaintiff's copyrights. So kind of wild, but it just seems like, and Kandi has said, I didn't handle this right. I should have treated it like a business thing and not something with friends, which is why she goes on to, I think she wrote a song with one other person in Housewives, but she said somewhere that Bethany asked her to write a song and she doesn't.
No,
I don't have a clue what it's for.
Yeah.
I don't know that Bethany was going to sing, but Kandi was like, I'm not doing it. Like, I've been
Good for
burnt by
her.
Housewives before. And that's,
She learned.
Kandi's amazing. And she's great at business.
I kind of really appreciate that she did it as a friend, but I'm also surprised because she is so talented and like experienced that she let that go. But that sucks. Oh my gosh.
So as I mentioned, she made $4,000.
Crazy.
The song sold over 100,000 copies, probably more. This is at one point when I read this, but ultimately the judge says basically the studio that she was at, the sound recording studio, Kim was actually a co-owner. So because it was done there, Kandi knew that it was done there. She has no right to, stop the release of the song.
That's a tough lesson.
Exactly. So that's, the lawsuit ends where Kim wins the lawsuit, which, she loves that and whatever. But Kandi basically just said, I screwed up. I shouldn't have done it that way. I really thought like we could handle this as friends and we weren't able to, which sucks.
Do you think the song like is still giving royalties to Kim? Like, do you think there's still revenue being generated from that song? Or
I have no idea.
Just curious.
If you stream it, I guess, don't they get something?
Yeah, I would think, but maybe not much.
I mean, it's a bop. I enjoy that song as well.
Sure.
It's ridiculous. So as Kim continues her time on the show, she eventually ends things with Big Papa. And in season 3, Sheree is actually involved in a charity event, Dancing with the Stars Atlanta. This is totally an aside, and there's just nowhere else to put this. Kim also competes on Dancing with the Stars. I didn't even look to see what she got because at this point, every one of our stories has somebody from Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And I refuse to give them one more minute of my time.
I endorse that. Co-signed.
So it's at this competition, Dancing with the Stars Atlanta, that Kim meets Kandi Buress, this NFL player. And it's all documented on the show. It's really kind of sweet. Of course, Kim talks about how great his butt is. But it was like kind of shocking to see this conversation turn into a marriage and kids and all of that just based on this like one-off that she happened to go to, which was kind of cool. So the couple dates, like I said, eventually get married, and their wedding is filmed for a Bravo special called Don't Be Tardy for the Wedding.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure Kandi loves seeing all these.
Oh, man.
So from there, the couple buy a 6,000 square foot foreclosure for $800,000 back in 2012. And
that's a lot for a foreclosed-on home.
But it's 6,000. It's huge.
Okay. I mean, it's a deal, but
yeah, but I get what you mean. So the couple renovate this house and they begin filling it with kids, literally. And Bravo was there to film all of it. So Kim and Kroy have their son KJ in 2011, Cash in 2012, and twins Kaya and Kane in 2013.
Wow.
So Kroy also ends up adopting Kim's older daughters as well around this time, and they all share the last name Biermann. But it is funny that it's like she tried to Kardashian this with Kim and Kroy, Kai, KJ, all of them, and then there's Ariel.
Wait, I'm sorry, Kroy is spelled with a K?
Of course. Kroy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she was bound to make this a thing, and
of course
we cannot be released from the Kardashian grip. I'm sorry.
Poor Ariel or Ariana and Brielle.
I know.
Way to make them not feel like part of the family.
I know. I was like, Kim, and I can't believe Kim's ego allowed her to name her kid something without a K, even back then. It seems like she would have already been like,
right?
This is my brand.
Monogram this, yeah.
So after their wedding, Don't Be Tardy for the Wedding, this special, they actually ended up getting a spin-off show called Don't Be Tardy. End of sentence, just Don't Be Tardy.
Yes. I don't know why, but I've seen this.
You have? I haven't even seen it.
Unless it was Atlanta, but I have a recollection of a scene with their little kids, like young toddler boys in like fancy toy cars in a driveway
that sounds
with them talking. And I'm sure it was maybe Don't Be Tardy and not Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Just a quick note. It is now pouring at my house. So if you hear the soft sounds of the rain, just let it relax you as we finish this episode. This is your ASMR. Okay.
Love it.
So Don't Be Tardy airs on Bravo for 8 seasons. It ends in 2021. And so Rebecca, with Kim not at Atlanta, not filming Don't Be Tardy, and Croy retiring from the NFL, do you kind of wonder where the Biermans are getting this money that they have to have this lavish lifestyle you see on Instagram?
Are they in a throuple with Big Papa?
Oh, God.
Yes, I'm
Kim
curious.
Squared. The first could be that at one point, Kim was going to be a motivational speaker. Did you know about this?
Nope. Big
Here's
nope.
a quote.
No.
Quote, "I'm so flippin' excited. I've talked about this for years, and I'm finally doing it. You guys really motivated me after watching some of my speech on Don't Be Tardy. The comments and emails you guys wrote were awesome." End quote. So Rebecca, this was supposed to be a 20-city tour with Kim talking about, unclear, but originally the tickets were $125 a piece.
Oh my gosh.
Eventually they're moved to $65. Eventually, the whole thing is canceled. This never saw the light of day. Yes.
Oh my gosh, what a scam.
There's also some angel thing she's doing, and I didn't write it down. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember seeing this on Instagram.
Yes, it's some Instagram thing where you can meet with her, like angel lady, but I couldn't quite figure out how that whole thing worked, but I almost paid money to sign up to find out.
Yeah, a very ethereal business model, if you will.
It truly is. So next up, Kim has a line of skincare products. You're aware of Kim's line?
No, but sadly, I am such a sucker for celebrities' skincare product. I'd probably buy them if I saw them.
This one's called Cashmere Collection, both with a K.
Nope. I hate businesses that, use Ks where there should be Cs.
A K.
Nope.
She also had a perfume she was working on back in 2016 called Cashmere with a K as well.
Ugh. I was going to say something about Kandi with a K. I'm like, nope, she can't do that either.
No.
That would be a
Kandi
big
will
lawsuit.
sue her once again.
Yeah.
But Rebecca, would you like to know my personal favorite?
Of course.
It's the Biermann's Closet.
Oh, what is it?
It's like
her
Poshmark, but with clothes from the family. And so I'd like to read to you a quote from the homepage of the Biermann's Closet.
Biermann's Closet. Okay.
The Biermanns have unlocked their closet door, so get ready for an exclusive tour. Grab a bag and fill it up because they have deeply discounted all of their hand-picked items, new and used, for you to shop at unbelievable prices. Check back weekly to see what new items they are willing to part with. And this sounds like a charity for us.
I'm like, wait, is it still active? Like, what size is she?
It is still on there. So for our criminality, of course, I did my due diligence and I went perusing as one does.
Good.
And so you'll find that Kim has things like Louis Vuitton and Gucci. I mean, very expensive. I don't know how much these things sell for, but thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Brielle has on her page an Urban Outfitters bodysuit, which was sold for $25. Ariana has some Free the People in size dust. And Croy has a Michael Kors V-neck for $50.
That's weird.
That's
so
weird.
weird. I'm sorry. I think they should cap it at high-end designer pieces and not things you could get for brand new.
It gets
for
very
less.
Poshmark as you go on.
I mean, I guess the thrill for their fans, if they have fans, is like owning something they owned. But for me,
if you
that
buy
appeal is not there.
Barely legal bodysuit, I want your address because I am going to make some calls. Something's not right here.
Intimate, yeah.
Very.
Ugh.
Croy, I will say his stuff, like the sweatsuits are sold. And I was like, I actually kind of get that one. Like
Yeah. Okay.
gray sweats. I could do it.
Also, like a former NFL football player, I could see the like cool factor with owning that. I will, yeah, endorsed.
But Kim Zolciak Bierman's daughter's bodysuit,
No.
go to jail.
Gross.
Go to jail.
Absolutely. That's like literally jailbait.
Yes. And so most importantly to know, Rebecca, all sales are final. No returns, exchanges, refunds, or cancellations. When you buy from the Biermann closet. Oh, gosh. Oh, speaking of scams, allegedly, what I really love on the site is the charities tab. As you would, right?
Of course. Yeah, got to give back.
It's nice to feel like we're giving back when we're purchasing bodysuits. Here's what happens when you click on the charities tab. It says, quote, clothes for a cause.
Oh, no.
A portion, we don't know how much,
Vague.
portion of the proceeds will be donated to, do you want to guess where?
Cancer cause. With a K.
Some of the Biermann's favorite charities. Yeah. There is not a specific thing on there.
Is so wrong.
Right? Like, how much is it? A portion? Where is it going? Our favorites.
A college fund.
Yeah. I think they would have
K?
done better making a cancer foundation with a K. You're right.
Yeah. And the college fund with a K.
Yeah. And how much and to whom? It's up for you to guess.
Details, schmeetails.
Yeah. But all sales are final.
Yeah. This is not tax deductible either, even though it's a charity.
No. So with the show being canceled, don't be tardy. Crowley's retired. They're definitely not making the kind of money they did back in the day, right? So last week we start seeing little news reports, AKA my TikTok was full of this.
Yes.
That Kim's house was being foreclosed upon.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say now that all of this is allegedly, I'm really sourcing TikTok very heavily for everything I'm about to say, and I will still say allegedly after every 2 words. But with that being said, again, all alleged, it's said that the family has a second mortgage on this home. So they bought the foreclosure, but then they have a $300,000 second loan that hasn't been paid on. They've been paying the main one, allegedly. Okay. Which means now their house is going up for auction because they haven't been making payments allegedly on this second mortgage. I also saw reports online that like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, it was sold. Like the house was actually sold for $275,000 at auction.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Kim did an IG live where she was like, this isn't true. This is my house. Here's a video. Suck it, haters. I'll leave when I want to leave. But again, very vague. Very, very, very vague.
Yeah, that's bold because if it turns out like the next thing we see is a moving truck,
then it's just we wanted to leave. I said we would leave when we wanted to leave.
Right, exactly. Left that window open. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying a foreclosed upon house. I think that's like very savvy thing to do. But it is a weird irony that like it's like bad juju almost. It's like I don't know. And the second foreclosure that it's valued now, it's so much less. That's not a good sign. Yeah.
So the TikToks are saying that the person that purchased it, if this actually went through, was a friend of the family who is now renting the house back to the Biermanns.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
But based on nothing, like I don't know where people come up with this, but it makes sense, right?
Though. That's a good guess, and also why she felt so confident to get on there and do something like that.
Exactly. Again, alleged.
Yes.
But the interesting thing was this isn't the first time they faced foreclosure. Back in 2014, the Biermanns were sent have you heard of this, a fieri facias letter?
Nope.
It's called a FIFA, apparently, on Google.
That's also like the football federation.
Soccer thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What this FIFA basically says is that an officer may take control of a piece of property and sell it in order to satisfy the owner's debts or tax obligations. So foreclosure. And so at the time, this was back in 2014, there was this lien of $10,000, but they paid it like on the day that it was to be foreclosed upon. Okay. So there's a chance that they just paid this $300,000.
Right.
I keep seeing people say court records say that it was sold, but I couldn't find anything and I don't even really know how to look for it and nobody linked it. So again, I have no idea.
Okay.
So Rebecca, to end this, Kim really reminds me a lot of Tori Spelling in the way that we're always going to see her in the news, right?
Yeah.
For one reason or another. Whether it's about her joking about ways her daughter could get John Legend tickets. Do you remember hearing that?
No.
Ooh, how do I bring this up? She tweeted at Chrissy Teigen and said, basically, who does my daughter need to, you know what?
I did hear about this.
Yes.
I didn't remember that it was her about John Legend and her daughter.
Yeah, it was her daughter. Of course, it's a funny joke, so don't worry about it. It's not what she
tracks with
means.
your original statement about how she came out of the womb. I mean, so inappropriate.
So inappropriate, wild. Or if you see news articles recently with Ariana having a cake for her 21st birthday with a mugshot of her DUI picture on it, we are going to see the Zolciak Bierman family for a while, and they're not going away.
We're also going to see that on our Instagram. I'm finding that image.
100%. And that's okay with me. They bring me a lot of entertainment. They bring clickbait. I will click on anything Kim Zolciak. So Rebecca, I'd like to leave you with one last clip. And that's going to be the clip that's 21 seconds. And this just summarizes everything to me.
No. Whoa. The rain didn't mean a thing. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was better. Wow.
My headphone just popped out of my ear, and I'm not saying it was because of her vocals, but literally it did while listening to that. It just expelled like projectile vomit.
It's looking out for you.
You know,
no, the only thing you can say is, whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, I think the only thing I can say is the no when she was singing no. I mean, it always sounds alarming when you hear a vocalist without all the tracks in a booth. Even the best singers. I mean, the best singers sound good, but they don't sound finished or perfect. That didn't even sound like music.
I mean, most would say it was not. So that is the story of Kimberly, Leigh, Zolciak Bierman. Thank you for coming along for that ride.
That was really, really fun. Atlanta's next. I'm watching it. This has just gone on too long.
Even if you only watch the first few seasons,
yeah,
I think you're good. You could watch till probably 5 or 6. And
I've actually watched like I watched the Bolo season just
because
everyone was talking about it because I had to go in and see that. So I'm kind of up to date more with like the latter housewives. Right. So I need to go back and look at the roots. But what a great story. I really, really enjoyed that.
Oh, I'm so glad. That was a fun one to do. Thank you to TikTok for putting Miss Bierman up on my algorithm and being like,
dang, right?
Changing my episode in one day because of it.
And usually the people we talk about in our episodes hit the news like right after an episode, but this coincided right with your research. So thank you, Kim.
So thank you.
So
thank
nice.
You, Kimmy.
You know what singer housewife didn't come up in the whole episode? A glaring omission, Melissa.
Oh, I can't wait. Who?
On display.
Oh, I
remember
that.
Oh my gosh, that expensive studio she built in her basement.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. She came to Orlando for a concert for our 4th of July thing. Yeah. Oh. And I was like, even me as a housewife thinking I could see housewife fans seeing Joe Gorga or any of them, I was like, I will not be standing outside for that.
No, absolutely not. And do you remember the scene where she was like, where they had to kind of start showing content that suggested she's always wanted to sing. And she's singing Amazing Grace in her bedroom. And instead of saying that saved a wretch like me, she says wench. And you just can't beat it. You can't write this stuff.
No. Oh, I'm not sad I missed her, but there's so many.
No, don't be.
It's constant, but Kim really was like the first one to try it on, like, especially with zero talent to try it.
Yeah. I mean, money can't buy you class, but it can buy you a producer. And then it bleeds out into other Bravo shows too, right? We've got Sheena and Lala, and I'm sure there's others.
Yeah, I do love Good as Gold. That's
another one that it stands the test of time. Yeah.
Wow, Rebecca.
Wow.
Thank you for joining
so much
me.
fun. Thank you for bringing us. That was great.
Awesome. So, Rebecca, I have done more than enough talking. I would like for you to say as many words as you'd like. What are you watching this week, Rebecca?
I have 3 shows that I can't decide which one to share with you.
Okay, I'm excited.
And I'm like, why don't you just save them and then you have something to talk about the next 2?
But you know it'll be a new show.
Exactly. And so I'm going to give you a grab bag special. This is a first.
Yay, I'm excited.
Do you want a reality design show that's new and really good? Do you want something kind of really amazing but heavy and deep and sad, but pop culture relevant? Or do you want really pop culture Netflix YA peak 90s nostalgia but present day?
Okay, so you are giving me lots of things I love and hate within the same descriptions. So, okay, what do you think I would be most likely to watch? How about that?
Well, that's a great question. And the answer feels like none of these are going to be right up your alley now that I think
worried
about it.
What's the most fun that you've enjoyed?
Okay, let's go with that. Okay, Netflix.
Okay.
90s nostalgia. Maya Thurman Hawke.
Oh.
You know.
No, I don't.
It's called Do Revenge.
No idea.
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. I think it came out like a month or 2 ago, so I'm late. Like it was very topical 8 weeks ago or so. I'm not sure exactly. I actually didn't know which one I was telling you, so let me just open up a quick.
Is that Ethan Hawke's daughter?
Yes. Okay, so here's the blurb. Popular Drea wants revenge on her boyfriend for publishing her sex tape, and exchange student Eleanor is haunted by a rumor. The 2 teenagers team up to take action against their tormentors. This movie is Heathers meets Clueless.
Really?
And they landed today in 2022. It is so of the moment, but so rich with 90s nostalgia. Guess who the principal of this fancy prep school in Miami where all the show is based is? 90s slay queen TV star.
Oh.
Emphasis on slay.
Yes. Married to Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. She's the headmaster.
I've seen quotes by her, so you knew something was coming up with her in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in a day. She looks great. And she just, all of a sudden, it's like they're going to the principal's office or the headmaster's office and the chair spins around and it's her. And it's like, who else could be that role? And just that she's now aged into that role, wild. No parents involved because it's like a boarding school. Well, it's not even a boarding school, but they're all just rich and live in mansions without their parents and have unsupervised parties. But Maya Thurman Hawke, who got really big on Stranger Things, plays this kind of like oddball exchange student who teams up with Drea, who is Camila Mendez. And they both have like a group or a person that's done something really terrible to them. So they team up to do revenge on the other person's tormentors so that they won't be suspected of it.
Got it.
So Drea's kind of going after who broke Maya's character, whose name is Eleanor's, heart, and vice versa. And there's literally songs from Clueless in the soundtrack.
Really?
Visually, it's just gorgeous. Their uniforms are lavender. Like, it is so pretty and aesthetic. I'm dying. It's so good. It's so, so good.
Plot-wise, is it any good?
Yeah, no, it's really good because it's also in on the joke. It's very much like this very woke culture it's playing on every trope in these movies. So there's a makeover. There's revenge, there's big party scenes, but I feel like they're in on the joke. And plot-wise, things are happening that I totally don't entirely see coming. And yeah, I think it holds up as like a good story and a very good depiction of the moment and how maybe the 2000s and 90s like led to this moment. And it's laughing at itself. And it's really, really fun. Like the kids in it are very representative of very zeitgeisty types. And so the big douchebag of the high school who would have been like the 80s heartthrob, he's trying to be this like champion of women. And so he starts this cisgender identifying male group for female advocates. It's like such a joke. And he's like, I want to lead the charge. And like, everyone's like, bravo. But like, he's the worst. And so it's really, really a fun, glitzy, like watch.
Oh, fun. Okay.
It's a little more passionate about it than I. I know.
You lose me on YA. Much like the bodysuits, I just don't feel like I should be taking part in
So what is wrong with me that I need to like discuss in therapy that I'm so drawn to it?
I don't think anything's wrong with you. I think the way my brain works is just different. I just think like they would hate me. They would think I was so uncool. And so maybe it's that I like had a hard time during that time. And so to me, it's not fun to go back.
Yeah. That probably makes sense. But then you'd identify with Eleanor.
The loser?
No, she's super cool and she's actually really smart, but she does have to go through a transformation to gain acceptance. But like, there's always, you know, these archetypes in these shows. And that's what I think is so fun about them is like kind of, yeah, I could see why it's not fun going back. And it wasn't like whatever, I'm going to stop. I enjoy it. And one of the quotes from the main character, Drea, is whatever, because she has this big downfall because her sex tape gets released. And she says, what does she say? I want to get it. She's like, whatever, it's not cool to peak in high school anyway. And like, I just think it's very self-aware and I think it's smart and fun. And maybe your daughter would like it. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe she doesn't. Anytime I suggest anything for her to watch, she's like, I made a huge mistake and tried to get, I don't know what I was thinking. I watched something on Steve-O and I just was like, he seems so likable now. And like all the Jackass guys have grown up. And this like, I remember watching it like with my cousins and stuff. So I was like, maybe she would like it because it's stupid. Immediately, as soon as I turn it on, balls. And I was like, why did I just think this was a language thing and not like, I was like, I'm so sorry. Don't tell anybody I even showed you this.
That's like the whole brand and vibe from
totally forgot
out the gate.
Forgot it. Yeah.
I saw that Punk'd is now on Hulu. Like I think they're like researching all these shows for the new generation or trying to, which is interesting. Okay, well, you're not going to watch that, but will I watch what you're watching?
I'm wondering if you are watching what I'm watching. Okay,
Ooh, okay.
So here's mine. HBO, Aubrey Plaza, Hotel. You know it.
I don't know it.
We've watched it before.
Okay. It's the new season of White Lotus.
New season of White Lotus.
I love Aubrey. Is it Audrey? Audrey Plaza or Aubrey?
I thought it was Aubrey.
Aubrey, yes. It's Aubrey Plaza. Dark hair. I know who she is. Is it good?
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I don't know. It's the same thing as last season as far as like in the beginning, you see somebody has died. You don't know who it is. You don't know who's surrounding. So it's the same idea of these, like it's following separate stories. The only person I recognize is Jennifer or, you know what I'm talking about?
Coolidge?
Coolidge, no. Yes. Yeah. Jennifer Coolidge is there. She's now married to that guy from the last season. And so they're there in Italy. So there's a White Lotus in Italy. They're there vacationing and they're having like marital problems. Aubrey Plaza is there with her husband and her husband's friends. I guess her husband's friends have money. Aubrey and her husband came into some money, something he designed or something. So they're like new to having money and this lifestyle and stuff. And Aubrey Plaza is just great in everything. So I loved her in this. But I saw a tweet that was like, White Lotus is just passive aggressive comments amongst 1%ers. And that's really it. It's very passive aggressive the whole time.
Right.
I'm not loving it. I'll watch the whole thing. It's interesting, but it's not, I don't know. I can't really figure out where it's going exactly, which is kind of like the charm of that. But I finished The Americans and that was that dedication.
Took a toll on you, I feel like, for a minute.
It truly did. The last season and a half, I was like, I think I speak Russian now. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was glad to finish that. So I just needed something like that I didn't have to think about a lot.
Sure.
So I'm watching that. If you watch the last season, you'll enjoy it, but it's not like only Murders in the Building. Did you watch the second season?
Do you know what? I haven't. And I'm shocked because I loved it so much.
I only watched the first episode and I was kind of like, we could have why wasn't it just same thing with White Lotus? Just let it be let us want more.
something so magical sometimes is just like, what do they call it? Is it magic in a bottle? Lightning in a bottle.
Maybe. Okay.
And it's once. And like, that's kind of, I think, why I didn't try White Lotus yet, is because I really, really liked it. But that quote that you just said from Twitter, that really does resonate. And I feel like maybe there's a moratorium on that. Like, you get one season of that and that's indulgent to maybe have a second. I don't know. But at the same time, I love a murder mystery. I love a beautiful setting. Italy, I wouldn't mind watching. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll enjoy that a lot, because there's like times when they just are like in Italy. And I was like,
I need it.
Yeah. It was my YA there for a while.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I watched one episode of Only Murders, the second season, and I think
I did too, and I stopped. Although, okay, so now I'm gonna, just because you mentioned Only Murders in the Building, Selena Gomez, I watched her documentary, and I wanted
to see that.
Oh, okay, so maybe I should have picked that. It's stunning and so tough and so raw and vulnerable, and I applaud her. It's a beautiful doc. Yeah. It's called My Mind and Me, and it's on Apple TV. And I do recommend that.
Oh, that's cool. I definitely want to watch that one, so I will.
Yeah, it's really, really good. There's been a lot of good TV. Okay, well, lots of TV and also lots of holidays are starting, which is relevant because I think our next episode is going to be Thanksgiving week.
It is.
So we're going to take that off because turkey.
Because turkey is right. Yes.
So we're going to play a replay. We're going to find an oldie but goodie, and we're going to air that on the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, should we do a poll and see which one?
That's a fun idea, because how do you pick?
I don't know.
Yeah, let us know. Like, what would you want to hear again?
Yeah. What would you like to revisit that's maybe there's been updates to?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll play that in 2 weeks from now. So we wish everybody a preemptive happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to do you want to tell everyone what we're going to do?
2 weeks after that, we're going to do an update episode because, as you know, all these freaking things have been updated. Kim Zolciak, there's going to be another child. There's going to be something that's gone on by the time we get in a month from now. So 100%. That's what we're kind of doing, taking care of ourselves, taking care of the show. But that's kind of on the docket coming up.
Yeah, so it's our second update episode. So you can check out our first update episode if you haven't already, which went up to, I forgot what number, maybe
30?
20. Oh, 30.
I thought so.
And so we'll do from that episode up till present. So we know that'll be a fun episode because it's always great to revisit and see what's new. And then we'll resume from there as normal with my next episode.
Yay.
And don't forget, Black Friday's after Thanksgiving, and so is Small Business Saturday. Really great days to start your holiday shopping at criminalityshow.com/merch.
Rebecca's going to get us there. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow Rebecca on social media and her show Dialogue, which comes out every Wednesday.
That's right. And Melissa's got another podcast, Moms and Murder, on Tuesdays. So follow us there and follow Criminality Show on Instagram, on Twitter, and TikTok.
We're still doing our best.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Criminality. If you're enjoying the show, please head over to Apple Podcast or wherever you listen and give the show a rating and review. The reality is it would be a crime to keep your thoughts to yourself.
And come join the fun outside of the podcast and follow us on social media. We are at Criminality Show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Memes are welcome. We'll see you in 2 weeks with a new episode. Until then, you can catch my co-host Melissa on her weekly show, Moms and Murder.
And Rebecca Sebastian on her podcast, Dialogue, a true crime conversation. Don't forget, loving reality
isn't a crime.